This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith.
And I'm Bill Bryant. And we certainly hope you had a nice 4th of July, collected some memories, maybe some good pictures, you know.
Definitely of some things that had toppled over with the wind.
I was going to say, definitely was memorable, no doubt about that. And now at 6 a.m., storms did cause a mess in several areas of the Commonwealth yesterday. We'll be looking at the damage as the cleanup begins this morning.
Also, we're learning new details on an international story. Authorities have detained a man they say was seriously implicated in the murder of a U.S. student killed in Italy.
And a Southern Kentucky family found a surprise in their backyard this weekend. A look at the black bear who decided to hang out over the holiday. That's coming up.
Speaking of hanging out, yeah, we got the storm still hanging out across the region. They're not moving anytime soon. We're going to have that for the next few days. Some heavier downpours down towards the south, rolling through Pulaski County, coming out of southern portions of Casey County and back toward the southeast. Now we're going to go over this flash flood watch, so we still have an effect until 8 a.m. coming up.
Strong storms caused damage in several areas across the state yesterday.
Yeah, in Lawrence County, severe weather caused significant damage to a Walmart just as it was packed with shoppers. Storms also caused a lot of damage in Lexington. WKYT's Mark Barber is joining us live with our team coverage.
Good morning, Rebecca, and this is just a small look at the damage that is here on Wolf Run Drive in Lexington. Several trees are down in yards here, and even a roof is starting to partially collapse. Now, as bad as the damage is here, parts of eastern Kentucky were hit even worse. In Louisa, a small town on the West Virginia border, people think a tornado tore through a Walmart. Strong winds tore apart the roof there and then ripped through the store, scattering merchandise. Out in the parking lot, a pregnant woman and her husband barely escaped their car before powerful winds flipped it.
And it picked it up maybe a couple inches, you know, but it slammed it back down.
And that man tells us that his wife was 25 weeks pregnant. Again, a very close call for them, but fortunately no one was hurt in Louisa. Now the National Weather Service is expected to visit the area today to determine whether a tornado caused all that damage. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And strong winds took out several trees on the west side of Lexington. Most of the damage was in the Mason-Headley Road area. Trees fell in the roads and a few fell on some homes. Mark Hickson says he was inside his living room when a tree came down.
We were sitting there watching TV and that big gust of wind, whatever it was, came through and heard the tree crash and went through the house.
At one point, Kentucky Utilities officials told us more than 1,000 customers were without power. Luckily, no injuries were reported in the Lexington area.
Nasty weather forced Lexington's annual 4th of July festival downtown to end early, but the rain moved out just in time for the annual fireworks show to go off with a bang. The weather didn't cooperate everywhere. Cities like Paris, Frankfurt, and Versailles postponed their fireworks displays. A full list of rescheduled shows is now on our Facebook page and on WKYT.com.
We're tracking a breaking news alert this morning. Italian police say they have detained a homeless man in the death of an American student whose body was found in the Tiber River. Police identify the suspect as Massimo Galeotto, a 40-year-old from Rome. Police said he was taken into custody because he was seriously implicated in the murder. The body of Bo Solomon was pulled from the Tiber River yesterday. The 19-year-old student from Wisconsin had last been seen early Friday morning at a pub shortly after arriving in Rome. Solomon had recently completed his first year as a personal finance major at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
New this morning, Lexington firefighters say working smoke detectors allowed a man to escape safely after a fire started inside his home. It happened around midnight on Tatesbrook Drive off Appian Way. A fire started in the bedroom on the 2nd floor. Firefighters say the homeowner was asleep when the smoke detectors woke him up. He was the only one inside and was not injured. Crews say the fire mostly damaged the bedroom, but it is able to be repaired. There's also some water damage on the 1st and 2nd floors. Firefighters are still trying to figure out exactly how this fire started. Also new this morning, 2 people are recovering after an overnight crash in Lexington. Happened around 12:30 at Old Paris Road and Strawberry Fields Road. A car crashed into a telephone pole. Police tell us slick roads or alcohol could be factors in the crash.
Lexington police say a Good Samaritan ended up being stabbed after the man he tried helping attempted to rob him. That happened on Southview Drive near Southland Drive when the victim noticed a man standing next to his car with his flashers on. The victim stopped to help the man, who asked for spare change And as the victim started to get some change out of his car, police say the man stabbed him in the arm while trying to grab his wallet. The victim managed to get in his car and drive off without the man taking anything. Police say the victim has non-life-threatening injuries. And 2 hikers were rescued in Clark County after falling off of a 50-foot cliff near the Kentucky River.
Scary for them. The hikers were stuck not far from Highway 627. Emergency crews say it took hours to get the man and woman out because crews had to work through tough terrain to reach them. The hikers were finally brought out on 4-wheel drive vehicles and loaded onto ambulances. Their conditions not known right now. The Clark County Fire Chief credits help from neighboring counties to pull off the tough rescue mission, I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, today in Lexington, local musicians will rally around a music video producer who's recovering after being shot during a robbery.
Right. Police say Coleman Saunders got out of a taxi last week when he was jumped by 3 men. He went to the hospital with critical injuries. WKYT's Mike Byer is live in Lexington, looking ahead to an event for Saunders later today. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bill. I'm at Willie's, locally known on Southland Drive. A benefit will be held here tonight for Lexington music producer Coleman Saunders, who was critically injured in a shooting. A few weeks ago, police say Saunders had just taken a taxi to Limestone and East 7th Street when he was robbed and then shot by 3 men. Now his friends are rallying around him as he recovers from his serious injuries. From 8 to 10 tonight, Willie's will hold a revival for Saunders. There will be a $15 suggested donation. Christopher Bentley of Sunday Best and friends will provide a night of music and fellowship for their brother. Bentley is hoping all local and regional musicians who know Saunders will come out and join him on stage. Now, as Saunders recovers, Lexington police are still looking for the 3 suspects involved in that shooting. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. A Rockcastle County family got quite a surprise when a bear showed up outside their house. The Smith family says they first noticed the bear while sitting inside, and they walked outside and took some pictures while, of course, keeping a safe distance. The Smiths say the bear stayed around their house for about a half an hour or so before finally disappearing back into the woods. Other people around Mount Vernon also reported seeing that bear. In recent weeks, we've received reports of bear sightings in Pulaski, Boyle, Clay, and Whitley counties.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We still have some storms out there early this morning, especially southern half. South of I-64, that is your better opportunity. See some of these storms flying around. Good news here is no severe weather is expected as we roll throughout the morning hours. We can't rule it out in toward the day, or through the day rather, as it looks like there's an isolated severe threat, meaning you could have a stray cell. It's possible, but for the most part, it's going to be heavy downpours and some lightning. Let's get into what we're looking at over toward the east-southeast. This just rolled through Pikeville, across 119 and also 460. That is a wet go at it early this morning, just south of Prestonsburg. That's pretty nasty rain right there, very heavy downpours. And that's about to slide through Phelps here in just about 15 minutes. Now, once that pushes on out, you're not all over with. We still have rain back toward the west, heading your direction. One cell about to travel through Somerset. Somerset, you're getting in on the mix, but actually the brunt of this rolls through Science Hill and also Eubank, just to the north of you guys, right there on that Lincoln and also Pulaski County line. So this heads over toward the east. Mount Vernon getting in on the mix, Livingston getting in on the mix, Annville, you are next in line, and then one down toward Whitley City about to roll through here any minute. So then we look toward the north and some bits and pieces, spotty showers here and there. You're going to get brief downpours, and then they move on out in about 2 to 3 minutes. We go through your day, it's going to be on and off, just kind of spotty hit and miss here and there. Not everybody will see rain today. It's at 40%. So you can see it's a decent chance, but not a great chance. But still trying to get those yards mowed, it's going to be kind of tough because you can get out there when it's dry, but you could have a passing thunderstorm right as you start to do that. But I would say today is your better opportunity to do that because the next few days gets pretty wet. Here's the look around the region. 1 to 2 inches of rain all the way through Friday. So we are looking at some more heavy rain, bits and pieces here and there of maybe even 3 to 4 inches of rain, some isolated spots. And so the breakdown of this forecast is what we're going to be really focusing in on, is each and every single day having storms in the forecast. Pretty wet pattern through Friday, guys, but Good news, much drier there for the weekend. A lot of big events coming up this weekend because this past weekend was more about the 4th of July. Now they're going to throw events back in this weekend. It looks mainly dry, so there's some good news.
That's always a
There's some
good
good
thing.
news. You got it. Well, I guess that was Amber Waves of Grain you had there behind you, like the song.
Yeah, no kidding. There you go.
Wow, you are on top of it.
Look good. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Mike. Our time this morning is 6:10.
You've had your sleep or caffeine or both. I don't know.
Or neither, just going at it. Huh?
Wow, all right. Each morning we bring you weather and traffic. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, let's do that. A lot of folks back to work this morning and a lot of folks heading home from their holiday destination, so it should be busy out there this morning. Here is our look at the region. You're good to go on I-75 and I-64 with no major problems or delays this morning. And as we look at the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam, Nicholasville and Pasadena, and it is wet over there, and you're going to see a lot of that on the roads.
Yeah, definitely something you'll need to deal with, and just, use caution as you're out on the roads, because sometimes people can have a false sense of security when it's just a little bit of rain, but it can still be problematic.
And don't drive through any big puddles. That can be
right.
Turn around, right? All right, more news coming up on WKYT this morning.
NASA is celebrating a history-making mission this morning. We'll show you why when we return.
Good morning to you and welcome back in. WKYT this morning on the air live here on your Tuesday at 6:14. Presumptive presidential nominees Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are both heading to the Tar Heel state of North Carolina today, and they're hoping to leave last week's distractions in the past.
We'll see if they can do it. Hannah Daniels is at the CBS Broadcast Center with the latest on Campaign 2016.
For the first time since endorsing Hillary Clinton on June 9th, today President Obama will stump for his once rival in North Carolina.
I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
It will be their first joint campaign appearance and a welcome distraction for Clinton. Last week, the presumptive Democratic nominee answered questions from federal investigators about her private email server and Bill Clinton's controversial tarmac chat with Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who is overseeing the email investigation. This for a campaign already plagued by trust issues from voters.
I will continue to, be as forthcoming as I can.
Also trying to shift focus is Donald Trump, who is also holding a rally in North Carolina today and has been tweeting about potential VP picks from Senators Tom Cotton and Joni Ernst and Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Over the weekend, the Clinton campaign called Trump anti-Semitic after this tweet of Clinton next to the Star of David.
There was nothing anti-Semitic about our campaign. Certainly nothing anti-Semitic about Mr. Trump.
The latest CBS News New York Times Battleground Tracker poll shows Clinton with a slight edge over Trump in North Carolina, but within the margin of error. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Donald Trump will campaign today with Tennessee Senator Bob Corker in Raleigh, one of the possible vice presidential picks.
Iraqi authorities say more bodies have been recovered from the site of a massive weekend suicide bombing in central Baghdad, bringing the death total now to 175. With people still missing, that figure could continue to rise. The latest news comes as Iraqis mourn ahead of the Muslim holiday marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Well, NASA is celebrating this morning its history-making mission into Jupiter's orbit, and that tops our national headlines this morning. The spacecraft Juno fired its main rocket and started slowing down late Monday night as it successfully entered orbit. The goal of the mission is to study Jupiter's composition and learn more about the entire solar system.
6:17 is the time this morning. Fast food giant McDonald's says it is investing $557 million to modernize its restaurants in Germany. The company says 72 restaurants of the future, as they're called, will start offering custom-made burgers, children's play areas, and even table service this week. McDonald's says most of its nearly 1,500 German restaurants will be redesigned by the end of the year 2019. If you're on a diet, Italian researchers say pasta may not be the enemy indeed. They studied more than 20,000 people and found those who followed the Mediterranean diet, including eating pasta, did not gain weight. They found the diet with pasta helps contribute to a healthy body mass index and waist size. And you'd venture to think makes you feel pretty full, too. Well, no more BlackBerries on Capitol Hill. After a decade of being issued BlackBerry devices, Congress is finally making the switch to Android or iPhone. According to a memo sent out to employees, BlackBerry says production of all BlackBerry Operating System's 10 devices is being discontinued and future fulfillment cannot be guaranteed. Employees can still use the remaining phones in stock and will continue to receive uninterrupted warranty and technical support. A college degree really may be the key to landing a job. A new report from the Center on Education and the Workforce at Georgetown University finds that of the 11.6 million jobs created after the 2008 recession, more than 8 million went to those with at least a bachelor's degree. Another 3 million went to those with an associate's or some college education.
All right, extra incentive there to continue to learn. Our time this morning is coming up on 6:19. Hey, WKYT this morning is just getting started on this Tuesday, the 5th of July. Move over Snuggie. Make way for a snacky. Get ready for the tortilla towel. That's coming up. It'll keep you dry and make you hungry if you can get your hands on one. That story ahead.
Why can't I think of these things? Isolated storms outside early this morning. Then we hit the afternoon, still a couple of rumbles of thunder too. We're going to talk about a very wet and active forecast coming up next.
Welcome back at 6:22. Several areas of the Bluegrass still cleaning up damage caused by yesterday's strong storms.
It's going to be a challenge, and that's what's trending at this hour. Powerful winds tore off part of the roof of a Walmart in Louisa. It tossed merchandise all around inside the store. In the parking lot, high winds snapped trees and flipped some cars over. In Lexington, most of the damage was done by downed trees. A few came down on top of homes. No injuries have been reported in Lexington following yesterday's storms.
Most of Lexington's Independence Day celebrations went on despite the rain. Storms rolled in during the annual 4th of July festival downtown, but just in time to end for the annual fireworks show, and it went off without a bang, or with a bang.
Right. Rebecca, you and I know about the parade yesterday. We walked in it.
It was fun. It was fun. We made the best of the situation. My umbrella was beaten by the winds, but, you know.
You got it. I said on Facebook, it rained on our parade and we still had fun. Things are starting to calm down. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, for the most part, they're mainly calm, for the most part. But however, you work your way southbound into southern and southeastern Kentucky, that's where we're seeing some heavy downpours. One right over Somerset, and just to the north of that, Science Hill, Eubank, you'll be next in line if you're not experiencing it already. Also, Mount Vernon and Livingston, heading toward that Anvil area. If you work your way down toward McKee in Jackson County, all that's heading eastbound, and Whitley City getting the brunt of one cell as well. Now, we go through your day. Few storms by the afternoon, definitely not widespread. So you will get some breaks in the action as we go through the day. If you're trying to mow the grass after a day like yesterday, you can do it today, because you better do it today, because once we hit the next few days, looks like better chances of rain increase, about 60%. So guys, spotty storms today, I don't see much of an issue, but still the next few days look pretty active and pretty wet too.
Okay, there's the word, so just get ready for that, you know. Many people enjoyed hot dogs during the Independence Day celebrations, but what about 70 hot dogs?
Ooh, I don't think I could eat 70 of anything. Joey Chestnut regained his championship title during the annual 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest on Coney Island. Look at him go. Chestnut downed those 70 hot dogs along with buns in just 10 minutes. I'm sure soaked in water, right? How appetizing. It's the most ever eaten at a competition. Joey Chestnut strikes again.
Well, that's right. Big comeback for him.
Do you think he could ever eat that many chestnuts?
Never know.
Or maybe we'll try to eat chestnuts. Anyway, bad joke. Apparently not good enough for Bill to get a laugh.
I get it.
Okay. Well, Independence Day is, of course, all about celebrating our American freedoms, including the freedom to dress like our favorite foods.
Right. So behold the tortilla towel. You can hit the beach dressed like a taco, a quesadilla, or a burrito. The towel is, of course, already being sold online, and more are likely to be cooked up soon.
Look at that. Who wouldn't want to dress like a tortilla? Corn or flour is the question.
No.
Corn for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Typically around the 4th, you see fireworks safety videos that show mannequins blowing themselves up, shot from a safe distance, of course. But what about a video shot from inside a fireworks display?
Check this out. YouTube regular and self-proclaimed mad scientist Colin Furze strapped on a homemade Iron Man suit and stood in the middle of the fireworks display. Okay. He captured this look inside a fireworks display. Amazingly, he was not injured. Well, I would hope that he had worked out all the kinks in that operation.
You would think so.
To not be injured.
So he's all right, and that wild video is out there this morning. All right, 6:26. It looked like Halloween there.
It did. It really did.
Mixing up the holidays. Good to have you along on WKYT this morning, and our top stories are on the way for you in just a moment.
Before we go, tonight's Mega Millions jackpot, or today, if you're really keeping count, a whopping $449 million. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot, 257. We'll be right back.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Kentucky Morning start here on WKYT, including the 5th of July, as we welcome you in. Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope you're having a fabulous start to your day. Things are getting back to normal for you, so to speak.
Back to work for a lot of folks this morning. And now at 6:30, strong storms moved across Kentucky, causing major damage in some areas. We'll look at the damage done in Lawrence County. It was pretty hard to hit. That's ahead.
We're also looking ahead to a benefit for a Lexington music video producer who was shot during a robbery.
And today is the ribbon cutting for the Art Park Encounter in Grant County. We'll tell you more about that ahead on WKYT This Morning.
We do have a couple of rumbles of thunder still outside early this morning, especially south and southeastern zones where we are getting those rumbles flying on through here, Pulaski County and also Rockcastle County getting the brunt of it. And a couple of storms today. Now, this is no widespread rain, but we do look at widespread rain increasing in the next few days. I'm going to get into that and show you our threats coming up.
The National Weather Service will be traveling through areas of the state to see if tornadoes or straight-line winds are to blame for damage caused by yesterday's storms. Those storms damaged several homes and cars in Rockcastle County. Emergency management officials tell us most of the damage is in the Brodhead area there. People living there expect it to be a few days that it will take them to clean up the mess. One man says strong winds flipped his car and also took out his porch. He says he watched the storm from his kitchen window.
I screamed for my kids and my family, get to the bathroom, and as it come through the living room, all the posts was going one by one.
Emergency management says at least 7 homes were damaged there. No injuries were reported, thankfully.
Well, early on it looked unlikely, but the rain moved out just in time for the annual fireworks display in Lexington. You may have heard some of that. People gathered in the parking lots outside Commonwealth Stadium to watch the show. It was the first year the fireworks were launched from the nearby UK Arboretum. For years it was held downtown, but the city decided to move the show so the fireworks could be seen from as many parts of Lexington as possible. While the weather cooperated here in Lexington, several cities, including Paris, Frankfurt, Versailles, all forced to postpone their fireworks shows. Many have been moved to next weekend, but some will go on tonight if the weather holds up. A full list of the rescheduled shows now on our Facebook page and on WKYT.com.
So you might still have a chance to go see another fireworks display, right?
Yeah, well, fireworks shows, of course, lit up this night sky across much of the country to celebrate Independence Day.
Yeah, thousands celebrated the 4th of July for the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. This was the scene in Boston last night. Look at that. Several superstar performers, Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas, held a concert before the hour-long firework display. And millions of people gathered in New York City to watch the annual Macy's fireworks show along the East River. The fireworks capped off a day of celebrations all around the country, America's 240th birthday.
Beautiful. Well, strong storms caused damage across the bluegrass yesterday, but we can expect more rain today, potentially. I don't know. That's a question.
We're going to find out. In fact, it looks like we are in a bit of a pattern here. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is in our First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, it's a wet pattern too, and we're going to hold on to that all the way through the rest of your work week. I will tell you this, today is your driest day. Not fully dry, but driest day is the next few days. Actually have much better opportunities of rain. We look southbound. There is a cluster of storms making their way through McCreary County, heading off into Whitley County as we speak. Williamsburg, you'll at least get some rain out of this, but it looks like the brunt of that storm will actually stay just to the north of downtown Williamsburg. Also rolling through Science Hill, Eubank across 27. It's heading off toward areas that have seen rain the past couple of hours and seeing rain still southern portions of Rockcastle County. So all that's moving eastbound. London, you'll at least get some sprinkles out of this. And that's why we still have that flash flood watch in effect through 8 a.m. Now, that's for only the southeastern zones. You can see that there on your screen through 8 a.m. We do expect that to be expired when it comes 8 a.m. And the rest of the day, it's really hit and miss. Most of us actually stay dry today. But where do we expect storms for today in the next few days, and how much rain are we expecting? Because it could turn into a flash flooding issue. I'll have that coming up.
Okay, another situation to watch. Thank you, Micah. Visitation for the founder of Southland Christian Church will start today. Friends and family will pay respects to the Reverend Wayne Smith starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. His visitation will be at Southland Christian Church on Harrodsburg Road in the main sanctuary. It will last until 9 o'clock tonight. And another visitation for the Reverend Smith will be held tomorrow morning, to be followed by his funeral at 1 o'clock, both at the same church.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony for the life-size Noah's Ark replica will be held in Williamstown, Kentucky this morning. The new Ark Encounter Park in Grant County is scheduled to open to the public on Thursday. Special donors and VIP ticket holders will get a sneak peek today. They're expecting some big crowds for the park's opening. They're expected to hire as many as 400 seasonal workers.
Well, a well-known thoroughbred farm in central Kentucky has announced the grand opening of its newest barn. Old Friends Farm in Georgetown lost a barn to a fire back in January. The barn was destroyed. No horses were hurt in that. Now, with help from charities, Old Friends will open up the newly constructed barn coming up this Saturday.
Well, today in Lexington, local musicians will be rallying around a music video producer who's recovering after being shot during a robbery.
They're trying to help him out. Police say Coleman Saunders got out of a taxi last week and then was jumped by 3 men. He went to the hospital with critical injuries. WKYT's Mike Byer is live in Lexington, looking ahead to an event for Saunders later today. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bill. Part of a well-known local band will team up with other musicians tonight here at Willie's Locally Known. It's all part of a benefit for a Lexington video music producer, Coleman Saunders, who was critically injured in a shooting. 2 Sundays ago, police say Coleman Saunders was just taking a taxi to North Limestone and East 7th Street when he was robbed and then shot by 3 men. Now his friends are rallying around him as he recovers from his serious injuries. From 8 to 10 tonight, Willie's will hold a revival for Saunders. There will be a $15 suggested donation. Christopher Bentley of Sunday Best and friends will provide a night of music and fellowship for their brother. Bentley is hoping all local and regional musicians who know Saunders will come out and join him on stage. Now, Lexington police are still looking for the 3 suspects in the shooting, a shooting Saunders is still recovering from. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you very much. And now let's check traffic, see what's going on out there this morning. Our live drive check this morning is of the drive times in right now. They're normal from the cities surrounding Lexington, from Nicholasville, Versailles, Paris, Winchester, Richmond, all about average times.
Looks pretty good. And here's a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This one is set up at Richmond Road and Man of War, and things look good. You do have some little slick roads to worry about.
Yeah, rain's been an issue, and it sounds like that's going to continue to be off and on throughout this week, so keep that in mind and have a little patience with that. You can get the latest traffic and weather information anytime with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download that for free in the app or Google Play stores. And it sure is good to have you with us here on this Tuesday, the 5th of July on WKYT This Morning. We're back in a moment with a lot more news.
Hope your day's off to a great start. A group of runners pledging to run 300 miles over 7 days. It's all in an effort to raise money to help cancer patients. We'll have more on Eastern Trek for Cancer when we return.
Still a few storms in the forecast. We're already seeing that this morning. What about your afternoon, though? I'm going to talk about that and show you why you have to take advantage of this afternoon. It looks pretty wet the next few days. I'll have that coming up.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Still a few rumbles of thunder down toward the south and southeast. That's where we're getting some heavy downpours at this moment. We do have a flash flood watch in effect for south and southeastern Kentucky until 8 a.m. more than likely. This will be expired as these storms pass on through. And the back edge of this, if you look back toward the west, look back towards 71 and also 65. There's nothing back here. And so the back edge of this is trying to roll on through, and it will take another couple of hours, especially for you guys down toward the far south and southeastern zones. If I do see it extended, actually in time-wise, there for the flash flood watch down toward the south and southeast, I would say 9 a.m., 10 a.m., but other than that, it's going to be expired if they don't extend it to those couple of hours. But still a little bit of rain trying to move on through. Somerset, not really getting the brunt of that. It actually rolled through Science Hill and also Eubank. Now sliding toward Livingston and Mount Vernon. Heads up for you guys as you'll actually see this storm roll on through here in just about 15 to 20 minutes. Still a little bit more rain headed toward the Anvil area and also East Bernstadt, McKee. That's where you're going to be seeing 421 is going to be pretty soaked as you're traveling through Jackson County. And then we look northbound, central zones, northern zones, brief downpours. I mean, they last 2 or 3 minutes and they move on out, so there's really not much. You won't get a lot of rain out of that as it passes on through. This afternoon, there's only a 40% chance of rain, so I would say this afternoon is the one time you better take advantage of, because here's the deal. Once we head throughout the next few days, it gets worse and worse with the rain chances. 60% for tomorrow. As you can see, most of us will pick up some pretty decent shots of rain, anywhere from ½ an inch to 1 inch of rain for tomorrow. Then we hit Thursday, and here comes some more rain in the forecast every single day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll get breaks. I mean, you could see there's during the evening hours on Thursday, you'll get breaks, but you will also get some rain as it passes on through, too. If you're trying to plan some things, try to do it for the weekend. I know it's far away, Saturday, Sunday, but those are your smaller chances of rain. Mostly dry there for the weekend in the mid-80s. So here's your 7-day forecast to break it down for you. 40% chance of rain today. Afternoon, it's kind of hit and miss. Most of us stay dry, but can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's more about the heavier downpours, but we cannot rule out the isolated threat and severe weather. Definitely no widespread severe weather like we saw yesterday on any of these days, but heavy rain, a lot of lightning, gusty winds can be expected Saturday and Sunday, though, guys. Looks pretty good there, 30%. All those events that were not so much canceled for this weekend, but just weren't placed for this weekend because of 4th of July and now placed for next weekend. Looking pretty good for you guys.
Yeah, there were some postponements, so keep that in mind into Friday or Saturday with some of those fireworks displays. We have that list on WKYT.com. Maybe catch 2 fireworks shows if you want that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 6:45 the time.
So a University of Maine student whose mother died of cancer has found a unique way to honor her.
He created a foundation named after her that raises money within a 300-mile run, is what is going on there. The Christine B. Foundation supports those fighting cancer and their families through a variety of programs. The Eastern Trek for Cancer, a 7-day, 300-mile run from Portland, Maine to New York, is the foundation's biggest fundraiser. Runners make stops along the way to visit hospitals and deliver care bags to patients and their families.
The Christine B. Foundation was named after my mother, Christine, who passed away from stomach cancer in 2008. And that is probably my #1 motivator. But since I've started doing work like this, I've definitely encountered an endless amount of people who have been affected and keep me going.
My mindset right now, I'm a little anxious, a little nervous about it, but really excited about the impact we're about to make.
Well, great work, certainly. 17 people are taking part in this year's trek. This year's run has already raised nearly $17,000 with those good deeds all along the way.
Yeah, that's great.
6:46 is our time on WKYT this morning.
We have more news. Stay with us.
Coming up, President Obama joins Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail. What impact will it have on the presidential race? Plus, we'll break down NASA's history-making Jupiter mission with astronomer Derek Pitts. More real news coming up on CBS This Morning, next.
Welcome back into WKYT this morning, rolling towards 6:50, 10 till 7, and it's great to have you with us here. Strong storms caused damage in several areas across the state yesterday.
Strong winds took out several trees in Lexington. Over in Lawrence County, there was some severe impact, significant damage to a Louisa Walmart. It was packed with shoppers. Let's go into Lexington right now with Mark Barber joining us with more on the damage.
Good morning, Rebecca. And this here is just a small picture of all the damage along Wolf Run Drive. You can see toppled trees here, a damaged home even, where a tree nearly went into the living room of this house. Now, this, as it is bad, this damage is nothing compared to what people are dealing with out in eastern Kentucky this morning. In Louisa, a small city on the border of West Virginia, people think a twister roared through a Walmart there. Yesterday afternoon, they say that that tornado took the roof off of that store. They say that it then started tossing merchandise around that store as well. Now, Cars out in the parking lot, they were also tossed around like toys. One man says that he and his pregnant wife escaped their car barely before the winds picked it right up.
Literally looked like a funnel in the sky there. It was coming over that mountain. It was filled. I mean, you could see it coming down.
That man says his wife is 25 weeks pregnant. Fortunately, no one in Louisa was hurt yesterday. We're told the National Weather Service is expected to head to that area today to take a look at all the damage. They want to figure out if a tornado touched down there. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Wow, quite a scene in that front yard there. Surveying the damage after powerful storms rocked the 4th of July. That's just one of the stories making headlines this morning. And Bill has a look at what else is trending right now on the web.
It's busy in our newsroom as we're updating WKYT.com. The National Weather Service is working with Lawrence County Emergency Management to set up a time to survey the damage in Louisa that many witnesses believe was caused by a tornado. We've just posted that story online, as well as this update too, how smoke detectors saved a man from a fire that started in the bedroom of his Lexington home overnight. On WKYT.com, you can find the dates and times for rescheduled fireworks shows. Some cities chose to postpone because of last night's weather. And with a chance of storms in the forecast all week long, don't forget to download the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app, and you can take our First Alert Defender network with you on your morning commute or wherever you are, so you know what's coming your way. Rebecca?
Well, Bill, just into our newsroom, a flight from New York to Israel that was escorted by military jets in Europe following a bomb threat has landed safely. The president of El Al Israel Airlines says there was an anonymous tip of a possible bomb on the plane. France and Switzerland deployed military jets as escorts. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump turn their attention to the key battleground state of North Carolina today. Clinton will be joined by the President Obama for the first time in Charlotte, while Trump campaigns with Tennessee Senator Bob Corker in Raleigh. A new national poll shows Clinton's lead over Trump has narrowed to just 5 percentage points. Italian police say they've arrested a homeless man in the death of an American college student who was studying abroad in Rome. Officials found the body of 19-year-old Bo Solomon Monday in the Tiber River, 4 days after he failed to show up for his orientation. Investigators are considering robbery as a possible motive. NASA celebrating its history-making mission into Jupiter's orbit.
This is really exciting. You know, after traveling close to 2 billion miles over 5 years, the space agency's solar-powered spacecraft Juno successfully started orbiting the largest planet in our solar system on Independence Day. Hannah Daniels has a look.
Welcome to Jupiter.
NASA scientists cheered and gave each other high fives as they declared mission Juno accomplished.
We prepared a contingency communications procedure, and guess what? We don't need that anymore.
The spinning solar-powered spacecraft successfully entered Jupiter's orbit shortly before midnight after completing a 35-minute engine burn. The high-stakes maneuver allowed Juno, roughly the size of a basketball court, to slow itself down significantly and hit a target just a few miles wide.
A mission of this complexity to accomplish tonight is just truly amazing.
To actually have it, to know that we can all go to bed tonight, not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, it's pretty awesome.
And liftoff of the Atlas V with Juno on a trek to Jupiter.
NASA designed the spacecraft to withstand the intense radiation belts and a ring of debris surrounding the planet. As Juno's journey unfolded, it already began capturing images of Jupiter and its moons. Over the next 20 months, scientists hope to learn more about the planet's composition and uncover new clues about how our solar system began. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Exciting, huh?
Amazing stuff. And here's something else amazing, Bill. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot. It is an estimated $449 million. Friday night marked the 33rd consecutive drawing that failed to produce a winner. And as a result,
that jackpot is up to the 7th biggest of all time at this point, including Powerball and Mega Millions prizes. Tonight's drawing is at 11 o'clock. You'll be able to find those winning numbers on WKYT News at 11 tonight. So exciting for somebody who may win. A local Kentucky artist is getting his hands dirty to help out the Bluegrass Airport. Damon Farmer created this sculpture using 10 tons of sand. It's right in the lobby to the Lexington Airport, which just started offering 3 new nonstop flights. You can now go from Lexington to Savannah Hilton Head, to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and to Newark.
Newark, that's where I want to go.
Right there out of, which is, just a quick ride into New York City. So interesting new connections there.
Let's check in right now with Micah for a look at our weather.
And we still have some storms outside early this morning. You can see that rolling through Pulaski County, southern Lincoln County, Waynesburg, my friends there. If you head your direction back toward the east, still looking at Livingston, Mount Vernon holding on to at least that thunderstorm threat. London about to get in the mix along with Annville and McKee rolling through Jackson County. All that's making its way eastbound. So we still have that flash flood watch in effect through 8 a.m. for the far southeastern portion of our viewing area. Now that will expire once we hit 8 a.m. or maybe a couple of us still left over that may be extended till about 9 or 10 a.m. But for the most part, overall, our threat is over with. Then we head through your day afternoon. A couple of rumbles of thunder, but I would not say a washout by any means. So if you're trying to knock out some plans outside in the next few days, you'll want to do it today, guys, because next few days actually look pretty wet all the way through Friday.
Well, if we didn't let yesterday wash us out around here and Lexington went on with its festivities, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Nobody's more up to date than you to start your day. Thank you for being on WKYT.
Have a great day.